He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. Fuck Meghan Markle. Well, you might suggest that plenty of people have already done that, but it's not in the sexual sense that there is the use of the F word, but rather in a contemptuous and dismissive manner. This one's wife is what we would describe as a Marmite character. Plenty of people love her, plenty of people dislike or even hate her. The vast majority of people actually have very little interest in her. They know something about her. They know that she married Prince Harry and then they went away to California. They probably recognise her as rather dull, and that's about it. They're not interested in the intricacies of her life or that of Prince Harry. They've got other things to focus on. But there are two other groups that are considerably invested in the world of this one's wife. First of all, her supporters, which consist mainly of individuals who either stand something to gain by their association with her and therefore routinely tongue her backside for the purposes of receiving some kind of favour, often money, and another group of individuals who exhibit a rather strange slavish devotion to a woman that would not piss on them if they were on fire, pledging support, talking about her, attacking other members of the royal family because they support this one's wife. And it often appears that they live vicariously through her, that they seem to think that because she's apparently a person of colour who was able to ensnare a prince, that they have a chance at that dream. They fail to see the logic, they fail to appreciate the evidence of her behaviour, and they formed a particular view in relation to her. The other group are those that dislike her and, as I've mentioned, in some instances might even be said to hate her. They range from those that saw early on that there was something not quite right about her behaviours to other people whose view of her has changed as time has gone on. Hitherto people that might even have been supportive towards her, who've then seen her behaviours stack up over time. And this has caused them to then revise their view and opinion of her. As I've made clear on a number of occasions, a narcissist such as this one's wife isn't able to maintain a sophisticated facade that would continue to conceal what she actually is time and time again. As a mid-range narcissist who has huge exposure on a world stage, her narcissism actually becomes lacking. It fails to keep in check those death stares, the clenching jaw, the insulting looks, because the facade management is not up to the task of handling the repeated threats to control she experiences. More evolved and sophisticated narcissists can do so with the utilization of charm, with the utilization of magnetism and humour. They don't necessarily attract as great a level of threats to control to begin with, and when they do experience them, their facade management is superior. Thus, they maintain a particular image so that they don't show that they are irritated, annoyed. They don't give the death stare. They don't look that they're under pressure. They don't engage in clearly inconsistent behaviours, which to the observer over a period of time demonstrates that there is something that isn't right. With this one's wife, she has these various instances of the facade fracturing, and we have seen the inconsistency of her behaviours time and time again, which exposes her. As I explain to my clients and to those who watch my videos and read my blog, give the narcissist enough rope, and when it comes to the lesser and mid-range narcissist, they will hang themselves. They simply can't help it. Accordingly, there are the different groupings of individuals that look upon this one's wife. And I thought I would share with you an article which has been written by somebody called Gracie Gatto, whereby this shows an interesting perspective in relation to this one's wife and the issue of support. It's headlined, "Fuck Meghan Markle." A fairly strong response, one would say, and dismissive and contemptuous of her. But what is the source of the writer's contempt? She states, "Let me preface this by saying I'm a California girl." Okay, similar to this one's wife. "Born and bred in the land of palm trees and performance. I've walked among the industry folk. I've brushed shoulders with famous adjacent types, and even I know when someone's playing an angle. I didn't come into this ready to hate this one's wife. In fact, I defended her. Repeatedly. As a woman of colour, as a media punching bag, as a fellow native of the Golden State trying to navigate an outdated monarchy with centuries of colonial rot clinging to its lace gloves, I gave her grace. Pun intended. But let me tell you what finally broke this particular camel's back. I watched the Netflix docu-series. I rolled my eyes, but bit my tongue. I listened to the podcast with the god-awful nasal coddled rich bitch tone that made my spine curl. Still, I said nothing. Even when I heard rumours about this one's wife allegedly firing someone for being pro-Palestine, I tried to breathe through it. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe the palace got to her. Maybe. But no. At some point, your maybes run out. What's left is character. And hers, well, it's looking about as deep as an Instagram caption in a sponsored post about finding your truth with a green juice in hand. Because it's one thing to rise from obscurity to royalty. It's another thing to rise and forget who you were on the way up. This one's wife had a platform. She had credibility among women of colour, progressives, Californians, Muslims, hell, even people who normally couldn't care less about the monarchy. And she could have used it to say, actually, justice does not stop where my brand begins. But no, she chose silence. Worse, she chose severance. This move says Muslim women are fine as long as they stay politically docile. It says intersectionality is a PR strategy, not a worldview. It says Palestinian pain is inconvenient. Californian girls like me, we don't roll like that. We speak truth, we protest, we know the smell of whitewash wokeness when it wafts off a press release. We know performative feminism from the real thing. And this isn't real. This one's wife didn't just burn a bridge, she bulldozed trust. Let's call this what it is. A masterclass in self-congratulatory rebranding. This one's wife, the woman who weaponized feminism like it was a fashion trend, now sits comfortably in a realm of privilege while real women, real voices, are silenced for speaking truth to power. And you know what? That's not just disappointing. That's vile. You can't sit on a moral high horse and swat down voices for Palestinian liberation. You can't claim to be for women, but not the women getting bombed, silenced, displaced, or fired for daring to speak out. California's girls like me, the real kind, we don't play that game. We don't sell out justice for brand optics. We grew up on multicultural playgrounds, political awakenings in college dorms, and family tables where speaking your truth was sacred, even if it got you into trouble. This isn't about envy. This isn't about British tabloids or tiaras. This is about values. It's about seeing someone take every ounce of public sympathy and twist it into a career move while stepping on the very people she once pretended to champion. So yeah, fuck Meghan Markle. Not because she married a prince, not because she's rich, not because she's famous, but because she had the platform, the story, the opportunity to do something meaningful with it. And she chose curated victimhood and corporate safe activism over actual courage. I'm done. The author is a native Californian, a mother, a journalist, and a woman who knows the difference between real advocacy and designer activism. Accordingly, she certainly sees this one's wife as engaging in designer activism and feels a sense of betrayal from what she has written with regard to the fact that this one's wife had a platform whereby this writer thought that she would do good with that platform, and instead she has utilised it for her own purposes. that she is engaged in self-congratulatory rebranding, that she's weaponized feminism as a fashion trend. She sits in the privilege of enjoying her life while other people are silenced. A scathing indictment, and shows just how, as a consequence of watching the way that she has behaved, this particular writer, who was once a supporter, has turned round and in very firm terms decided to dismiss the notion of this one's wife as a decent person who cares. A person who has seen the evidence of the way that this one's wife has seen the hypocrisy, the self-absorption, the self-promotion. All of this, of course, driven by the fact that she is a narcissist, and has resulted in these observations being made about her. An individual who's been able to see precisely the way that this one's wife has behaved, based on the evidence of this one's wife's behaviour. Someone who would originally look at her in a supportive way and has become disgusted because of not only the wasted opportunity of the platform that this one's wife had got herself on, but the way that she then utilised it simply for herself. It's no surprise to someone such as me, who recognised that she was a narcissist from the very early stages, but clearly this writer feels a huge sense of betrayal. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.